Rangers blushes. Themselves in a terrible tangle at the back. Abbiati to the rescue.
Yeah, very amazingly poor defending from Milan, but it was a great knockdown had it come from a forward, but it came from a defender, and a wonderful save. Goalkeeping was outstanding by Abbiati.
Colliding with Maldini.
Yeah, he collided, but he had a wonderful save and he stood up to it. Excellent block.
Junti. Oh, off the crossbar. Buffon was on the back foot, and deceived there by Junti's cross-come shot. Benefit of the doubt, we'll say it was a shot.
Buffon would be reproaching himself, I'm sure, because that should be easy meat for the goalkeeper, that type of goal.
On by Ware. Off in pursuit. Sensini fending him off. Now Thuram. Terrific play then by Thuram again. On by Dino Baggio. And they're in full flow now. Balbo. He's going to go for goal from here. Beaten away by Abbiati again. And how quickly then they sprung from defence to attack. It was instigated by the initial run of Lilian Thuram.
Yeah, Thuram took a chance. He tried to dribble from the back, but he went at pace, and it created this outstanding opening and a fine save from a good shot.
They're looking, you feel, the more likely scorers at the moment. Parma. Fiore. Balbo's pass, releasing Dino Baggio. He could certainly strike one. Oh, good save again from Abbiati. He's been much the busier of the two goalkeepers so far.
Yes, he has, and there's no question that the visiting side are taking the game to Milan here, and they're playing exceptionally well. I do believe that the final ball in the front third for them is better than that of Milan at the moment.
Here's Barnau with that attempted cross. It's deflected behind for the corner. Milan's last 7 victories have come with a single goal margin, so they have had trouble in making their dominance counted matches. And in truth, in this one, Parma, you feel, have been the superior side so far. See what Boban can do though from this corner kick. Always a danger with Bierhoff in the air, of course. That's Maldini with a shot that's charged down. They're on the Junti. Now it's Boban who drifted out to this near side. Cannavaro's clearance. It's Baggio. Now Fiore launching another attack here, a counter raid from Parma. He's got Balbo to his left, Crespo through the middle. This is Abel Balbo! Whipped in, and the goalkeeper seemed to be committed in the wrong direction, and Parma have the lead, but they have been threatening for some time.
Yes, they have been indeed, and that was a magnificent finish. If he saw the goalkeeper coming for the cross and popped it in there, as I'm sure he did, that is absolutely outstanding finishing.
George Weah hasn't played all that much lately because of injuries. He's done well enough here, and it's stabbed wide of goal. As Boban came in, it was a real opportunity there.
It was indeed. He was in exactly the same position as Balbo when Balbo scored, but George Weah did the orthodox thing, put it across the face of the goal for Boban, and a very, very unfortunate miss for Boban. That was good play.
Abel Balbo, scorer of the 1 goal so far. Being handed there by Sala, and pressured into a mistake too. On by Barr to Boban, slipping through! Great stop by Buffon. Here's Barr now to Boban. Oh, where was some great trickery on the ball. What a reaction save too then from Buffon.
This is a good ball and a terrific turn, great footwork, strength, power, everything, and his shot was excellent, but Buffon has had a fine day and his positioning is outstanding.
Junti. This is Maldini! It's there! Fabulous strike from Paolo Maldini, and the captain has come up trumps for Milan, and they are back on level terms. Maldini on his right foot, and he simply blasted it in off the post.
Yeah, unsavable shot, brilliant. He wasn't closed down quickly enough. He was allowed a bit of space, and he took full advantage of that bit of space, and he drove a superb ball into the net there. Outstanding finish from Maldini.
It's 1-1 now in the San Siro. Milan against Parma in this vital game, but away come Parma now. Crespo, he's got Belbo up with him. Might not need him. Still Crespo, and Belbo just couldn't finish it off. And Maldini was there to whip it away at the last.
Yeah, there's a captain for you. He's just scored now. Brilliant equaliser, and there he is back clearing it from 4 or 5 yards out. Great play by Maldini.
That's Boban. What a terrific pass. Gets! He's through surely! Fantastic goal from Katz.
What a comeback from Milan, no more than they deserved. They came out in the second half full of enthusiasm, full of aggression, and what a pass from Boban. I've got to say the goalkeeper committed himself very early.
That impressive second half display moved Milan ahead of Fiorentina into second place. Then on Sunday evening, all eyes turned to the capital, where leaders Lazio face city rivals Roma. Your commentator is Gary Bloom.
Nedved calling for the ball. He's barged away to Marcy. He's fallen under the challenge of Cafu. And there's no free kick there for Lazio, much to Nedved's disgust. And here come Roma. And here's Marco Del Vecchio. Trying to take on Mihajlovic. Oh, he's turned him. And there's the opening goal. What a beauty. 12 minutes in, Roma have the lead. And Marco Del Vecchio, so often derided by the home fans, and now he's the toast of La Curva Sud. No wonder he's delighted. Sergio Conceição. In towards Vieri. Good save by the Roma goalkeeper Michael Consul to deny Christian Vieri what would have been an equaliser. Gautieri tries to put Mihajlovic under pressure. And Lazio have given possession away to Lenichev here. Gautieri. Lenichev. What a let-off there for Lazio. Del Vecchio thought he was fouled. The ball ran loose then to Lenichev, who's in for the suspended Di Biagio. Was that a penalty? Totti with a corner. Totti again. Oh, Del Vecchio! It's 2! He's done it again! And both his goals now have been set up by Totti. It's his 21st goal of the season, and I wonder, even at this stage, with a couple of minutes to go to half-time, whether he's sealed the win for Roma. It's joy for the Giallorossi. Vieri. Can Lazio snatch a goal before the break? Salas. And Vieri's going to be penalised here for trying to kick the ball out of the hands of Michael Consul. Salas just unable to stab the ball in. It wasn't a very clean catch by Consul, but he did have the ball in his grasp there. Lazio, undefeated in 17 Serie A games, have a lot to do. And this is Vieri. Oh dear! That was only half a foot away from a goal for Lazio. Vieri playing in his first Rome derby. He missed November's clash through injury, and he was so close to a goal. Totti, beaten away by Marcagiani. Cafu will pick it up here for Roma. Marcy. And the whistle has gone. Now the referee, I think, is going to consult his assistant here. What's he going to do? I think Paolo, Sergio and Mihajlovic could be in trouble. They were pushing and shoving each other inside the penalty area. The Brazilians only been on the field 3 minutes. And we have a double sending off. Oh no, Rome derby would be the same without red cards. And we have a couple of dismissals here. This is where all the nonsense occurred. Just watch the players to the right of your screen, Paolo Sergio and Sinisa Mihajlovic. And for their schoolboy antics, the pair are off. Pancro. Oh, Lazio have a goal back. 12 minutes to go, and Christian Vieri scores. He emulates Mancini and Salas, who also scored in their first Rome derby. Well, we could have another sending off here, because Di Francesco's been hauled back by Nesta. And he's off, the third red card of the match. Nesta becomes the 8th player sent off in the last 6 meetings between these two bitter rivals. Totti tries to stab it through to Alenichev, but time's surely almost up now, and this is Totti. It's still Totti, and it's game, set and match to Roma. He claims Roma's third goal, having created the first two. The persistence here of Alenichev and Totti was admirable, and it's now Roma 3, Lazio 1.
Well, 3-1 it ends then. Roma treating Lazio to a demolition derby, and their captain Totti taunting the opposition fans too with that T-shirt, a rough translation for which is, if you're curious, I have been your laxative once again. Ironically enough, though, it was at the top and not the bottom that Totti and Roma opened things up on Sunday, because Lazio now lie just 4 points ahead of Milan, the second-place team now, after that result. And Lazio, indeed, this afternoon face yet another tough league fixture at home to Juventus, with, on this occasion, their entire first-choice defence out suspended. Mind you, Milan's match here in Udine tomorrow afternoon looks a pretty tough one as well, as we'll be discussing later on. Right now, though, on Gazzetta, it's time for a break, after which we'll be back with Parma against Fiorentina in the Coppa Italia final, first game of that. Plus, I'll be sitting comfortably with a fistful of paper ready in my hand. A touch of the Totties? No. The news of the week. Join us for all of that then in a couple of minutes' time.
Welcome back. Coming up in part 2, James has all the top stories from around Serie A. But before that, there's the first leg of the Italian Cup final between Parma and Fiorentina. With the commentary, here's Gary Blue.
Dino Badger trying to get away from Rui Costa. Chiesa just unable to turn his marker there, and here come Fiorentina. Edmundo has Batistuta up in support if he can pick him out. This is Gabriel Batistuta. Free kick to Fiorentina, who are hoping to lift the Italian Cup for a 6th time. It was Cannavaro who fouled Gabriel Batistuta. Batistuta and Torricelli both wanting to take the free kick, but my money's on Gabriel Batistuta. This is Rui Costa, Batistuta, Cois! Great save by Buffon. You can see now why Manchester United are prepared to pay so much money for him, if indeed he goes to England. A point-blank save here by Gianluigi Buffon to deny Sandro Cois. Alberto Malassani, the coach of Parma, who joined from Fiorentina last season. Batistuta again. Oh, he's got hold of that one, and what a save again by Buffon. Heinrich, Torricelli, and he can't stop that one. Edmundo's turned the ball in, but that one's disallowed. Edmundo was offside, but look at this for a save. One-handed as well. And the danger wasn't past yet as Jörg Heinrich, the German international, turned the ball back in. Edmundo quite clearly in an offside position. Dino Badger. Fuzet. Parma have been put in the shade somewhat by Fiorentina. But look at this. Crespo's calling for the ball in the middle. Oh, what a mistake by Redcar! And Crespo scores! It was a schoolboy error from Thomas Redcar. Just took his eye off the ball, but Crespo didn't. And Crespo, who scored both goals in Parma's 2-0 win against Fiorentina here, when the teams clashed earlier this season in Serie A, scores again. Thuram. Did well to keep the ball in play and pick out Fuzet. Crespo. Fuzet! Well held by Toldo. Giovanni Trapattoni's side. Goal behind. And it was almost 2-0 here. That's over the head of Batistuta and cleared by Thuram. Stenic. Veron wants the ball. Fuzet, Parma playing some lovely football. Fuzet's cross, looking for Chiesa. Still Chiesa. Oh, a great save by Toldo. What an audacious attempt on goal by Enrico Chiesa. Stunning save. Fuzet. Sensini. Veron. Hefty challenge. And the referee's allowed the advantage now. Chiesa, all tricks, but this time he's been dispossessed. He had the ball ripped from him. Gabriel Batistuta. Another great save. And the attempt on goal in the end from Falcone, a good deal easier to deal with than this shot from Gabriel Batistuta. He has lead in his boots. Just about 10 minutes left. Batistuta. Edmundo. Surrounded by yellow shirts. The goalkeeper hasn't got there, and Batistuta has. Well, whatever Crespo can do, Batistuta can emulate. The pair are rivals in the Argentinian national squad. And Batistuta scores what could prove to be a vital away goal for Fiorentina. His 24th goal of the season, after Buffon, who's had an immaculate game, spilled that shot from Edmundo. It's Parma 1, Fiorentina 1. Free kick now to Parma, Veron to take it. Just about repelled by the Fiorentina defence, but Veron is quickly on it again. Oh, here's Cannavaro. Cannavaro with a shot! Oh! He's almost given Parma a lead to take into the second leg with a couple of minutes left. Alberto Malassani knows how close that was. Central defender Cannavaro goes desperately close.
Well, 1-1 it ends then at the Tardini Stadium, and all set for the return match, the decider of the Coppa Italia final, which will be on the 5th of May at the Franchi Stadium in Fiorentina. Anyway, after that high drama in Parma, time now for us to peruse the week's news on this morning's show. And fresh as we are from Coppa action, we begin, appropriately enough, with some legal thrills as Zdeněk Zeman and Gianluca Vialli face off in court. The two managers have been called to the bench in a dramatic news sense following remarks that Zeman made to Espresso magazine in an interview last August, in which the Roma coach complained of widespread abuse of chemicals in the world of football. Prompts the magazine, surely Mr. Zeman, you can't deny your surprise at the rapid muscular development of some Juventus players. No, Zeman couldn't. He says, my state of shock begins with Gianluca Vialli and goes all the way to Alessandro Del Piero. I followed many sports and I thought the only way to get such results was with years of bodybuilding. Well, Zeman's insinuations were more than enough to give both players the needle. Gianluca Vialli indeed deciding to sue the Roma manager for damages, £1.8 million worth, which works out to about 2 years of Zeman's wages. Well, this Tuesday, 7 months later, this uncivil action finally reached court, where, having ascertained that the two parties were still in dispute, the judge adjourned until the 12th of November. My, these people work hard. However, Zeman's lawyer announced in the meantime that they're now going to be suing Gianluca Vialli for defamation and calumny, again damages of £1.8 million, after Vialli called Zeman a terrorist who wants to destabilise the world of football. Lucky he didn't call him boring. Well, what, though, of Zeman's original subject matter, a pharmaceutical problem to rival Old MacDonald's itchy jacket? Pharmaceutical. But anyway, 7 months on, after a rash of resignations and a bundle of wild accusations too, the old dope testing system has now been abolished, leaving Serie A's footballers to play on much as before, but with the promise now that as of next year, proper blood and urine checks will be in place for all. Bet the players are hoping so, eh? Well, anyway, next up for us this morning, we move on to the one man in Serie A who can trade personalised luggage with Zdenek Zeman, and that's Juve's Zinedine Zidane. Is he staying or going? Well, this Wednesday, Juve wheeled their World Player of the Year out for his usual whispered press conference, in which he announced, as far as anyone can tell, I am staying at Juve for now. However, he says, my family are not happy in Turin and that makes me feel guilty. A possible move to Manchester? No, he says. My wife's from Spain and that's where we'd like to go next. Money isn't important to me, family is. The likely destination, by the way, no longer seen as Barcelona, presumably because he's not Dutch enough, but instead one of the Madrid teams. Still, says Zidane himself, nothing right now is certain except that I will be here in Turin for one more season. Or perhaps, still given that the Turin-based newspaper Tuttosport finished its week with Zidane, I'm leaving, doesn't look like everyone shares his confidence. Moving along now anyway, on the subject of future plans, the Italian League this Tuesday announced the new look for Serie A for next season, the biggest change of which is probably the splitting of the weekend's fixtures over 2 days, with at least one game now played on the Saturday every week, and not just before European fixtures as currently happens. The Coppa Italia has been rejigged too, with the top 8 finishers in the league this year allowed to skip the early rounds of the Cup and join in December. At Christmas in the league, meanwhile, there'll be a 2-game break, plus, following pressure from the Players' Union, a mandatory 7-day period in which the clubs won't train at all. Cool. Finally, and another surprise this, they're cutting back on the player transfers, abolishing, indeed, the November transfer market. From now on, moves will only be possible in the summer until the end of September, and for 1 month from the start of January. What will we find to talk about? Well, finally, anyway, for this morning's news roundup, a look at league leaders Lazio, where tension is currently running high. Star Lazio defender Alessandro Nesta, indeed, has been banned for 3 matches for calling the referee a bastard after being justly sent off on Sunday. Lazio's captain will thus miss half the remaining games. And this afternoon, as mentioned, coach Sven-Göran Eriksson will have all of his back 4 out suspended. Wow, talk about Sven Hassel, eh? Meanwhile, stung by talk of wild celebrations in the press stand while Lazio were going down to Sunday's 3-1 defeat, the club have now decided, through captain Nesta, not to talk again publicly for the rest of the season. As Alessandro himself says, we'll see you then with the Scudetto. Wow, and what if they don't win, eh? Well, on that dramatic note, it's time now for us to fall silent too as we take another break. Stay with us though, because in a couple of minutes' time we'll be rounding up the remaining games from last Sunday in Serie A, plus I'll be chilling with a Brazilian who aims to do Lazio a favour tomorrow. See you then.
Coming up, James meets up with Brazilian striker Amoroso and gets his views on tomorrow's live game between Udinese and second-placed Milan. But first, let's see how Amoroso and co got on last weekend against Cagliari as we complete our roundup of week 28 in Serie A. Here's Gary Blue.
In Sardinia, Udinese ended a miserable run of 3 successive away defeats. That was in spite of Roberto Sousa's early miss from close range. The Bianconeri eventually took the lead 2 minutes before the interval. Martin Jorgensen claimed his 3rd goal of the season. They've all come in the last 5 games. Cagliari hadn't lost here since December, but they were disappointing on the day. Scarpi's heroics kept the scoreline respectable. Still, the home side's goalkeeper could do little to stop Johan Vellem's free kick in our end. The Belgian doubled Udinese's lead with his 1st goal in 7 months. Cagliari didn't come alive until the closing stages. Their teenage striker, Mohamed Kalon, who'd come on as a second-half substitute, hit the target 9 minutes from time. Having dominated the match, Udinese almost threw it away. Here, Turchi managed to keep out Esposito, but these were anxious moments for Francesco Guidal inside. At the death, the frame of the goal denied Fabian O'Neill an equaliser, as Udinese just about held on to take maximum points. As Zoran Mirkovic continued to call for peace in his native country, the two coaches shared a friendly moment prior to the kick-off. The two Carlettos, Mazzoni and Ancelotti, went through mixed emotions in a game which saw Juventus open the scoring after 16 minutes. Filippo Inzaghi's 11th league goal this season was mighty impressive. It was his third strike in 4 starts in Serie A since his recent return from injury. Soon after, Carlo Nervo was penalised for a push on Ferrara, but Inzaghi failed to make it 2-0 when he was denied by Antonioli. It was a crucial save by the Bologna keeper, whose long punt upfield just past the half-hour mark culminated in a goal for the Russian striker Igor Kolivanov. His superb effort left Peruzzi rooted to the spot. The visitors were perhaps flattered by the half-time score, but by the time Mazzoni's side went in front, they were well worth their lead. Capioli's first Serie A goal of the season was no more than Bologna deserved as they began to dominate their more illustrious opponents. Following a positive start to the game, Juventus produced a disappointing display after the break, a point perfectly illustrated by Inzaghi's second-half transformation. Juve eventually did find an equalising goal, but it came from an unlikely source. Angelo Di Livio scored for only the 3rd time in the top flight. The fact it came with a header made it even more remarkable. Having fought their way back into the match, Juventus then wasted a glorious chance to claim all 3 points through Inzaghi. Still, by the final whistle, they managed to avoid defeat, thanks only to Peruzzi's expertise. On the day before his 51st birthday, the not-so-heavily disguised Marcello Lippi was a surprise guest in Piacenza. The former Juventus coach saw a game with few clear chances. Both teams were mainly restricted to strikes from long range. In this relegation battle, the result was all-important, and the fear of losing was all too apparent. Rapaic, Busso and Stropper all came close to opening the scoring. Piacenza were looking to earn their 4th straight home victory, and they seemed the more likely to score. The introduction of their veteran forward, Rogerio Riccitelli, looked promising. But the former Italian international managed to get himself sent off in rather bizarre circumstances. After Lamacchi saw his shot charged down, the referee inadvertently poked Riccitelli in the eye. The former Roma and Torino striker reacted using foul and abusive language, hence his dismissal. The game appeared to be heading for a goalless draw, but in stoppage time, Piacenza hit the front through Lamacchi, who scored for the very first time in Serie A. The jubilant scenes which followed served to underline the significance of the defender's strike. Vojdin Boskov had seen enough, and the Perugia coach departed before the final whistle. Perhaps it was just as well, seeing that Nakata soon gifted the home side possession, and Simone Inzaghi went on to make the final score 2-0. Perugia went down to their 9th consecutive away defeat. Francesco Oddo was given a warm reception in his very first game at the Arecchi Stadium. Salernitana earned a valuable point under their new coach away to Venezia the previous week, and they never looked back in this game once Di Michele scored 9 minutes in. It was his 2nd goal of the season. His first had also come against Inter back in November. Salernitana should have extended their lead against a lacklustre Inter side. Di Vaio missed from close range before Gattuso found the target, only to see his goal ruled out for offside. The home side had to wait until the last minute before sealing a priceless win. Giampaolo was a scorer, much to the delight of his new boss. Incidentally, Ronaldo did play. His only contribution arrived deep into injury time as Inter lost their 7th competitive away match in a row. As the season reaches its climax, Sampdoria are still hoping not to join their city rivals Genoa in Serie B. They started the day just 2 places off the bottom, but started this game with a flourish. A handling offence by Gianluca Lupi resulted in a penalty for the home side with just 5 minutes gone. Emilio Pellegrino's decision was perhaps a little harsh on Venezia. There seemed to be little or no intent from the visitors' captain. Walter Novellino could only look on in dismay as Montella put Samp 1-up. After such a controversial opening, the match became a bad-tempered affair, and the referee had a real job on his hands to stop it from boiling over. Here Balleri complained he'd been elbowed in the face as off-the-ball incidents ensued. Walter Novellino's outburst from the Venezia bench only added fuel to the fire. Venezia, who'd won just once on the road all season, levelled the scores early in the second half through Fabian Valtolina. That seemed to calm Novellino for a while. Valtolina's equaliser was so important. A defeat in this game would have sucked Venezia right back into the relegation dogfight. But Sampdoria stormed back. Montella threatened to restore the home team's advantage before Marco Cate did just that with 19 minutes left. The Brazilian couldn't have picked a better time to score his first goal for the club. Then back came Venezia in this hugely eventful contest. Once again, they felt hard done by when they were denied a penalty. Ferron was Samp's hero at the end, following his outstanding save to keep out Tuta. Valtolina's behaviour after the final whistle summed up Venezia's afternoon. Vicenza's hopes of preserving their Serie A status have increased considerably since the arrival of Eddie Rea 2 months ago. Empoli also took on a new coach in February. Sadly for them, Orico's appointment has made little difference to their plight as a Tuscan club continue to prop up the table. Vicenza had won 3 of their 4 home games under Rea, and they improved that statistic in this game. Marco Negri opened his account for his new club 3 months after his arrival from Glasgow Rangers. Negri should have scored again shortly afterwards. It was practically an open goal. It was left up to Marcelo Otero to seal the points. The Uruguayan international has come alive in recent weeks. This was his 5th goal in his last 4 games. Vicenza need to maintain their positive form for the rest of the season if they're to stay up. With fixtures against the likes of Udinese, Milan and Roma coming up, that certainly won't be an easy task. The game ended 2-0 and with Empoli reduced to 10 men following the dismissal of Zumana Kamara.
Lazio's 17-game unbeaten run finally came to an end against arch-rivals Roma. Their lead at the top is now down to 4 points, and Milan have taken over second spot following their victory over Parma. The only other movers were Bologna, who overtook Inter to go 8th. In the bottom half, things have become incredibly tight, with just 6 points separating 8 teams. Wins for Piacenza, Vicenza, Sampdoria and Salernitana mean that even Cagliari in 10th place aren't yet clear of the relegation battle. At the top of the scorers chart, Marco Del Vecchio is tied with Crespo in 2nd place after his brace against Lazio, and Piacenza's Simone Inzaghi joined the group on 14. 3 of the Week 29 fixtures have been brought forward because of forthcoming European ties. Leaders Lazio need to get their push for the title back on track against Juventus, and with the reigning champions likely to be concentrating on the visit of Manchester United in midweek, it could be just the chance Sven-Goran Eriksson's side need. Fiorentina also play this afternoon, and they face an awkward trip to Bologna, although Carlo Mazzoni's side may have their minds on Tuesday's UEFA Cup semi-final second leg against Marseille. Ahead of their semi-final, Parma entertain a Sampdoria side in desperate need of points to avoid relegation, so Malassani's men are unlikely to have an easy ride. The only side in the top 4 playing tomorrow are Milan, and their trip to Udinese will be our live match on 4. This week, James met up with the man who's been Udinese's inspiration this season.
Thank you, Ken. A rhetorical question. Which shaven-headed Brazilian in 1994 was getting call-ups for the world's most prestigious national team despite being still a teenager? Nil point if you said Ronaldo. Who in 1994 was being named South American Player of the Year despite being only 19? Again, it's not Ronaldo. The answer, perhaps not surprisingly at this stage, is Udinese's Marcio Amoroso. In fact, viewers, Amoroso was Ronaldo before Ronaldo was Ronaldo. The reason, though, that he's been tucked away in Udine for the past 3 years is that in 1995 he wrecked his knee, spending 8 months out of football. In 1996 then, with his price tag dropped from $12 million to just over $1, he arrived in Udine to start again from scratch. 3 seasons on, and he's done well enough to be first choice forward for Brazil in their last 3 internationals, for Brazil mind. And this week, thus, with his present finally living up to his past once more, we caught up with him on his lunch break.
All'inizio di carriera ho avuto un po' di sfortuna, ho avuto un infortunio nel momento in cui ero uno dei giocatori più richiesti in Brasile, non in quell'anno del 94 che ho vinto il pallone d'oro, il capocannoniere. Ho avuto l'opportunità di andare la prima volta in nazionale, dopo ho avuto l'infortunio al ginocchio e è stato fermo. E ho perso tutto in quello anno, che adesso sto riprendendo e ho avuto la tranquillità di poter lavorare con professionalismo dopo tutto quello che è successo. Oggi lo Ronaldo è Ronaldo e Amoroso è Amoroso, sono due giocatori diversi, però Ronaldo per me sarà sempre per il momento il più forte del mondo.
Well, helped by moments like this, Amoroso has now shaken off his tag as the poor man's Ronaldo. Still, while he's become Udinese's biggest star, it wasn't always this way. Indeed, he spent his early months at the club at odds with manager Zaccheroni and planning to give up and go home to Brazil as soon as possible. It was only when in Christmas '96 Oliver Bierhoff went out injured for 2 months that a chance in the side finally appeared for what was to be a memorable match against Fiorentina. However, he now reveals, even here, that opportunity almost never came.
Io avevo già le valigie pronte. Prima di quella partita io avevo già le valigie pronte per andare in Brasile perché Bierhoff era infortunato, io non avevo l'opportunità di giocare e l'allenatore Zaccheroni l'ha messo un altro attaccante perché ha detto che io non ero preparato per giocare quella partita e negli spogliatoi mentre stavamo facendo il riscaldamento quell'attaccante si è fatto male, Clementi, aveva avuto uno stiramento e dopo io sono andato al posto suo a giocare e ha fatto doppietta, da lì in poi non sono uscito più.
Con la Juve, non mi ricordo.
Dopo con la Juve a Torino quando abbiamo vinto 3-0, non avevo mai vinto l'Udinese lì. È stato un anno e finora speriamo di rimanere con questo sogno bellissimo.
Quest'anno Bierhoff se n'è andato e insomma quella responsabilità sta a te ora di segnare i gol che salvano l'Udinese nelle partite difficili.
Con Bierhoff qua hanno giocato 3 anni praticamente per lui, la squadra si sosteneva a lui e aspettando che Bierhoff poteva sempre fare gol. Però in questo momento non è che io sono il giocatore che devo fare la differenza, cerco di fare il mio lavoro e davanti devo sempre segnare perché l'attaccante che non segna, come si dice in Brasile, muore di fame.
Well, Bierhoff scored 27 goals last season in the league. Replacing him would be difficult, and needless to say, Amoroso hasn't. Still, with 14 of his own so far, the Brazilian, still only 24, remember, has done enough to get the big clubs interested once more. Parma, Fiorentina and Real Madrid, amongst others, all chasing him for next year. Meantime, this season, in the remaining games, Udinese are gunning for a place in the Champions League, and tomorrow afternoon there's potentially a major step in that direction.
Questa partita con il Milan, che per Udinese potrebbe valere...
Per noi è molto importante.
Sì.
Per noi può valere l'opportunità di sognare di andare nel Champions League e sarà una partita a cui ci teniamo tantissimo perché l'andata abbiamo perso di 3-0 a Milano e finora non è andata giù, quindi noi siamo preparati per avere una partita di cuore perché abbiamo avuto l'allenatore, tutto lo staff e anche 2 giocatori con noi per 3 anni, quindi però in questo momento loro giocano nel Milan e noi rimaniamo qui a difendere l'Udinese, a cercare di fare i risultati, di vincere per la gente del Friuli.
Senti, l'ultima cosa, per Bierhoff è stato difficile andare da Udine a Milano, un grande, cosiddetto grande. Per Amoroso sarà altrettanto difficile e dove andrà?
Io finora non lo so nel mio futuro, io ce l'ho un contratto con l'Udinese ancora da comprire perché il mio contratto finisce nel 2003, però io a Udine sto bene. Però per un giocatore professionista deve pensare sempre avanti, pensare da professionista, se ci sono posti più bello, ti dà l'opportunità di guadagnare di più, dobbiamo pensare nel futuro anche della mia famiglia.
Non morirà di fame comunque, questo è sicuro.
Sì, spero di no.
Jolly good. Well, marvellous Marcio for you there, and he actually ended up paying for our lunch after that, which was very nice of him. He'll be leading out Udinese, of course, tomorrow afternoon in what looks like a cracking fixture against Milan. Milan's side, after all, still chasing Lazio at the top of the table, and our live coverage of that game will begin at 2:45 right here on Channel 4. Meantime, Lazio's match this afternoon against Juventus you can see in next week's Mezzanotte, which as of next week moves a whole 24 hours earlier to the Tuesday night. Or if you're more of the AM type, you can always tune in to next Saturday morning's Gazzetta with its full roundup of all the weekend action. Meantime, though, for this morning show, that's it. So from Udine, it's the usual warm and heartfelt ciao belly from the whole Gazzetta crew.